Very good morning to all. Can we start? Yes, we can start today's session. Yesterday, we completed American Revolution and we started the French Revolution, but we not completed the French Revolution. We are in the middle of the French Revolution. We are in the middle of the French Revolution yesterday. Okay. What we saw yesterday regarding the French Revolution, we saw the timeline of the French Revolution, where it started, where it ended. And we saw the background of the French Revolution. Regarding the background of the French Revolution, we discussed about the map. We discussed about the map of the European continent. That is one point of background. The second point of background was what was the condition of France in the Europe during the time before the French Revolution. We saw that France was ruled by the Bourbon dynasty, and that Bourbon dynasty was ruled by series of Louis family, Louis 13, 14, 15 and 16. Louis 16. Louis 13, 14, 15 altogether they ruled France for 175 years. Around the 1760s, Louis 16 inherited the kingdom. But during the time of Louis 15, France engaged war with British. It continuously engaged in war. Because of that, France was in problem. Most important, financial problem. Problem started for France during the time of Louis 15 itself. When he died, the problematic France was inherited by Louis 16. That is the background we saw regarding France. Okay. And we saw the causes of the revolution. In the causes of the revolution, we discussed about the political cause of the revolution. In the political cause of the revolution, we discussed about the inefficiency of Louis XVI. He was not fit enough like his predecessors. Predecessor means that is the previous king, previous emperors. That is, Louis XVI was not fit enough, not strong enough like his predecessors of Louis XV, Louis XIV or Louis XIII. He was very weak. He was inefficient. So, one of the main reason for political cause of French Revolution was inefficiency of Louis XVI. Next one. France was absolute monarchy. I told you what is mean by absolute monarchy. Absolute monarchy means absolute, all powerful. Monarchy means divine theory, where the king inherited his power from God. He was considered to be a son of God or representative of God or nearer to the God. So he was not answerable to the people. He was only answerable to the God only. Divine theory. So all power was in the hand of emperor. That is the French emperors. So he was not answerable to anyone. He can take his decision of his own. No one can able to advise to him. No one can question him. So he do as his wish. So that corrupt entire French administration and French government. So absolute monarchy was one of the reason for the political cause of the French Revolution. Okay. Next one. Because of the inefficiency of Louis XVI, that was used by his wife, Mary Antoinette. The Queen Mary Antoinette, she belonged to Austria, I told you. She was a princess from Austria. And she constantly interfered in the government according to her own wishes. If she liked anyone, she made that person as a minister or some important post, important government position. If she disliked anyone, they would be dismissed out of the government service or from the ministry itself. So the government was not according to the welfare of the people, it was according to the welfare of the royal family, that's all, particularly to the queen. So that was a political cause. Social cause of the French Revolution we saw. France was in the feudalism. France was in the feudalism, where the society was divided into three estates: the clergy, the noble class, and the commoners. The clergy were the first estate, the noble were the second estate, and all other commoners were the third estate people. Here, what was the social problem here? The first and the second estate, clergy, nobles or lords, were considered to be as a privileged class. Privilege. All facility is only for these two class only, clergy and noble lords class. Nothing is for the commoners. So socially, all the government services, all the privileges, all the facilities was enjoyed only by the clergy class and the noble lords class, not for the commoners. Socially, the third estate people were neglected. The neglection of the third estate people cannot be able to tolerate by them. So because of this, there was a social unrest. Why social unrest? I will tell you. Social unrest. Social unrest. Economic cause. This is where we started yesterday. In the middle of this only, we had a technical video problem yesterday. So once again, I start with the economic cause of the French Revolution. So we are going to start with economic cause of the French Revolution. That is where we are going to start today. Okay. At the top of the fountain, it was king. Okay. So, what was the economic cause? I told you, this is the side of population side in percentage, and this is land in percentage. Okay, I told you. So, this privileged class, clergy and noble class, was approximately 10% of the population, and the third estate commoners was approximately 90% of the population. But the land enjoyed by this 10% of the population was 65 to 80% of the land. 65 to 80% of the land approximately. And the commoners had with minimum land from 35 to 20% of land. See here, 90% of majority of population with limited of 35% to 20%. At least if you take 35%, how that would be? 90%, almost the entire country is with 35% of land only. But 10% of population enjoying the 65% to 80% of the land. Okay, let it be. Let them to enjoy the land, whatever the wealth that comes from the land. What the wealth that comes from the land? From the land, they produce rice, they produce wheat. For example, I am saying, they produce wheat, they produce potato, they produce the tomatoes, and all the agriculture supplements, they get it from the land only. They sell it and they make it as money, and they become wealthy because of that one. Who? These 10% of population become wealthy with a large land. Who? Church. And the church associated person. In the church, who were there? Father, bishop, archbishop, pope. Hierarchy. I am saying the hierarchy. So these were the person enjoying the wealth from the land. enjoying the wealth from the land. And nobles, they are also enjoying the wealth from the land. But only so much of wealth from the land for minimum microscopic population, that is 10%. Vast population is in poverty. See, commoners in poverty. The commoners were in poverty. The commoners were in the poverty. See, understand, 90% of population with a 35 to 20%, 25%, 20% of land, that was very, very minimum sufficient, not able to get sufficient food for them. Among the commoners, I told you, majority of the population were the peasants. Peasants were the majority. Majority of the population were the peasant population. Among the 90%, majority were the peasant population. Okay, let it be. But these 10% of population, privileged class, were exempted from taxes. Exempted from taxes. Exempted from taxes. Who? The first and the second estate. They enjoyed this much of land, but they were not paying any taxes to the government. Because, why? Because they were the privileged class. Privileged class that was given by the emperor to these people. The emperor granted. So you are a clergy, no need to pay taxes. You are a bishop, no need to pay taxes. Even today, if you find temples, the temple land are not paying any taxes to the government, because it is a free land given by the government to the temple. Church, like this, yes. So there is no taxes for the land belong to the temple or anything that is associated with the temple. It is a rent-free land. எவ்வளோ நேரமாப்பா இல்லை? Yes, due to some network issue, there was a small interruption. Now we are continuing. Okay, bye. Now we are continuing. Okay. So these privileged clauses of the first and the second estate were exempted from paying the taxes. So because of that, revenue coming to the government was completely reduced so much. Understand? Revenue to government was reduced so much. Automatically what they did it was the burden of the taxes was shifted to the third estate people, the commoners. The commoners bear the tax burden. The commoners people were, see, the first and second estate is not paying any taxes, only the commoners are paying the taxes. Percent, whatever the thing they produce from the land, half of the production from the land they paying to the government as a tax. If they produce 10 bags of wheat, 5 bags of wheat to the government and 5 bags for himself, for his family throughout the year. From that he has to keep something reserved for the next sowing season. That is the thing. So what would be minimum wheat would be in the hand of the peasant. For example, wheat I am taking as an example. That is in the case of all other things, potato, tomato, all other things, that is the same case. So day by day, year by year, century after century, the peasant population is pushing towards the misery condition and poverty and misery for the peasant. Commoners, this is the case of the peasant. The case of the traders and merchant selling the goods, but whatever the thing they are selling, half of the amount they have to pay as a taxes to the government. See, the traders and merchants were also affected because of the taxation system. Okay, so taxation, traders and merchants was affected because of this one. And the doctors and engineers, whatever thing, they were the creations of the society. They were the builders of the society, but they are not paying any, they don't have any role in the French government because the social setup was like that. So the third estate, the commoners were severely affected because of this, because of the taxation system. What was the key word? Economic cause of the French Revolution. The economic cause of the French Revolution, key word is inequality in taxation. Inequality in taxation system. Inequality in the taxation system, that is a key word. Inequality in the taxation system. Okay, that is the economic cause. Next one. The role of ideas, or we call it as intellectual cause. Intellectual cause for the French Revolution. Okay, now here what we are going to see, few personalities and their ideas. Okay, understand. I first write a few of the personalities. Hobbes, John Locke, Montesquieu, Voltaire, Rousseau, Hobbes, John Locke, Montesquieu, Voltaire, and Rousseau. What were these ideas? Yes, coming back to the session, we have a small net issue here and we have overcome that issue, and now we are continuing with the session. So I told you we start with the role of ideas. The role of ideas are the intellectual cause behind the French Revolution. What were the intellectual cause behind the French Revolution? I told you few of the personalities were responsible for the ideas behind the French Revolution. These were persons who responsible for triggering the ideas behind the French Revolution. We see one by one. We see one by one. Thomas Hobbes, John Locke, Montesquieu, Voltaire, and Rousseau. Clear? Okay. One. Hobbes. What this gentleman Hobbes told. This gentleman Hobbes, what he told. Think it of a situation. Come to a situation. There is no police. There is no military. There is no law and order. There is nothing there in a country. What would happen? What would happen? Complete disaster. Everything is in a disaster. Everything is in a disorder. That leads to a disaster. Disorder leads to a disaster. So, if there is no police, no military, no law and order, and no constitution, no rules and regulation, what would happen? Complete disorder. The disorder leads to the disaster. Think it of a situation. There is no signal in a road. What would happen? Everyone would go and come according to their own wish. What would happen? Accidents, death, like this. That is what we called it as a disaster. Then what we need? We need a signal. We need a signal. In that signal, time pass for each and every person to go from each and every direction. Like that, what Hobbes told, that means if you want to have a regulation in your country, we need a state. We need a state. That state would provide the rule and regulation. Rules and regulation would be provided by regulations would be provided by the state. So, the first person told that state is a most important one. State. India is a state. What India is having? India is having a constitution. That constitution is providing legislature, executive, judiciary. It is a source of power for all the thing that provides the rules, regulation, law and order and everything for the country. So if you want to do, you have to be like this one, where we are getting these things. We are getting these things from the constitution. So constitution is providing rules and regulations for a country, which provides that in state, India as a state. So the first person to give importance to a state was Thomas Hobbes. Thomas Hobbes told that state is a most important one, which provides the rules, regulations and order in the society. Order in the society. Whether that state is a good state or bad state, anything, whether that state is a good state or bad state, but it is a state. It provides the order in the society. So first person to give importance to the state was Thomas Hobbes. What his importance is? State. Importance of state. Crux word. Importance of state. Importance of state. Okay. Thomas Hobbes told this and he died. After that, few centuries after the death of Thomas Hobbes, another person came, and that was John Locke. And he told that, yes, as told by Thomas Hobbes, state is also important. State is important, but this state is important for what? This state is important for providing the government. Government. What is mean by government? That government is for governance. 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 Government is for the governance. So, state not only providing the rules and regulation order in a society, but it also need to provide the governance. To whom? Governance to the people. Governance to the people. Governance to the people. So where the state has to concentrate here in the governance? It has to concentrate in the, I write the keyword here, that is life. Life of a people is most important. Liberty. Liberty and wealth of a people. Life, liberty and wealth. In the end, I wrote wealth. Don't get confused. Life of a people, liberty of a people, and the wealth of a people. So, the state where it formed the government, that government should have a governance for the people. In the people, the governance should take care of what? Life of the people. It should take care of the liberty of the people. Independence. Liberty. Liberty means independence. Liberty means independence. Right to speech, right to speech, right to freedom of movement and everything. That is the liberty of the people. And the governance of the wealth of the people. Shelf lock. Yeah, shelf lock. That is the wealth of the people. That is the wealth. Wealth means land. Whatever the property that was possessed by the people, that is sure the state should take care of the property of the people. That is the wealth. Life, liberty, and the wealth, that is a property of the people. So this is the most important of the state. John Locke told that state should concentrate on the governance. In the governance, it should take care on the life of the people, liberty of the people, and the property of the people. That is called wealth. Okay. Next one, Montesquieu told that okay, it should take care of all these things. And what is the thing? The king, the emperor is having power in his hand. Absolute monarchy, I told you. Absolute monarchy. All power was in the hand of the king. If all power is concentrated on single man's hand, it would corrupt the man. It is the most dangerous thing. Think it of Hitler. Think it of Hitler. Think it of Idi Amin. All power was in their hand. They brought disaster. Hitler brought what disaster? World War II. Idi Amin, you know, Idi Amin was a man who was a president of the Uganda. He brought a disaster for Uganda. Like this. So when power is concentrated as single man's hand, it would become a disaster. So what Montesquieu told that was, he wanted to separation of powers. Separation. In polity you may study separation of powers. How the power should be separated? The power should be separated in the form of legislature, executive, and judiciary. So the power should be separated into legislature, executive, and judiciary. For example, in India, we are having parliament. Legislature, where lawmaking body. Lawmaking body is separated. That law would be executed by whom? Prime Minister and Minister. That is executive. And in case of any problem with legislature, the law made by the legislature or any action done by the executive, that would be inquired by the judiciary. Very good. That is called judiciary. Separation of powers. This is separate, this is separate, this is separate. So power should not be concentrated in single man hand. It should be splitted. It should be separated, like that is legislature, executive, and judiciary. So Montesquieu advised for the separation of powers like legislature, executive, and judiciary. Told that. Okay. And Voltaire, another man, told that state and religion should not go hand in hand. Religion should be separated, state should be separated. Here in India, government is not promoting any religion. Government is not associated with any religion, not directly associated with any religion. We have separated religion from the government. We have separated religion from the government itself, from the state itself. That is what told by Voltaire. That is separation of religion. Separation of religion and state. State should be separated. State means government, administration. That should be separate. Religion should be separate. Church is separated. Church, it should have a separate thing. It must not connect with the government. No connection between government and religion. That is what Voltaire told. So, Voltaire told the separation of religion from state. Separation of religion from state. That is Voltaire. Voltaire told the separation of the religion from the state. Rousseau. What Rousseau told that? Rousseau told that, see, we are in a contract. What is a contract we are having? People are in contract with the state. What is a contract with the state? See, where we are getting our fundamental right? We are getting our fundamental right from the Constitution. Okay. That Constitution is where provided by whom? We are getting our rights, fundamental rights from where? Constitution. Very good. Where is the source of the Constitution? That Constitution comes from where? State. Okay, very good. The people created the state. For people only created the state. Why? People need a Constitution. Why Constitution? Law and order, rules, regulation, order in the society. So, in order to have a order in the society, people created that state and the Constitution, because state only provides the Constitution. Constitution only provides the rules, regulation, order in the society. So, the people created the state for the nature. But state is not for the people. For people only state is necessary. For the state it is not for the people. For people only state is necessary. The state is not for the, that is, for the state it is not the people. Reverse is not a thing. Here. So, the people are in contract with the state, that is called as social contract. People needed state for this one. State is the people. People only needed the state. State don't need the people. That is, the reverse thing is not happening here. So this is called social contract. That was told by Rousseau. Clearly understand? Social contract. What social contract? People created the state. In that state, they created a constitution. The constitution is a source of power where rules, regulation, order in the society is provided to put the people into a order. So that is what we called it as a social contract, to have a orderliness in the society. That is called social contract. That is a social contract. Everyone compromising towards a state. Everyone compromising towards that. That is called a social contract. That is what told by Rousseau. told by Rousseau. His full name is Jean-Jacques. Jean-Jacques Rousseau. But if you write Rousseau, then it is enough. If you want to understand the full name, Jean-Jacques Rousseau was his full name. Okay, this is what told by the these 5 gentlemen regarding the ideas that triggered the French Revolution. I will tell you how this thing triggered later. Okay, now understand here. Thomas Hobbes, importance of state, that only provide the orderliness in the society, create. Okay, and John Locke, governance in the state would provide the governance for what? Life, liberty and wealth, property of the people. Montesquieu told that concentration of power in single man hand is danger, we have to separate it. That is separation of power. Voltaire told to separate the religion from the state. So separation of religion from the state. Rousseau told that social contract, we have to make a contract with the people, that is for creating the orderliness in the society, that is called social contract. Okay, that is a role of ideas, that is the intellectual cause. Next one, that is the immediate cause. Immediate cause of the French Revolution. Immediate. What was the immediate cause of the French Revolution? I told you, from the time of Louis XV, France was in financial problem. Why financial problem? France was in financial problem. I told you, France and England are British. France and England was constantly engaged in wars. This war brought lot of losses for the France. This war brought lot of loss to the France. Because of this, France was in the financial problem. From the time of Louis XV. So when the time of Louis XVI, he inherited a debt country. Debt means loss-making country. Debt means financial burden. Debt means financial burden. That is a debt country. A financial France was in financial debt. France was in financial debt. France was in financial debt. Louis XVI inherited a financially debt country. That is one thing. And another thing, what mistake did by Louis XVI was, even though he was facing a financial problem, Louis XVI was facing a financial problem, in order to defeat the British, vengeance over the British, what he did was, he financed or aided to the 13 American colonies. 13 American colonies during the time of American Revolution. See what a mistake done by Louis XVI. Already he was in great financial problem. He was having no money at all to run France, but a small money he was having. Sorry. Already Louis XVI was having a great financial problem. He was having a small amount of money to run France. But what he did it was, that small amount of money what he had was gave it to the 13 American colonies. For what? Fighting against the British. Complete money was gone out of France. He don't have any money to run France because of the aid what he gave to the 13 American colonies. Now France was complete in bankrupts. That is a key word. France was in bankrupt. France was in bankruptcy. France was in bankruptcy. Bankruptcy means bankruptcy means complete loss of money, everything. It was complete empty. The treasury was empty. India, think it of like India is complete. Indian money was completely emptied out of its treasury. That's all. That is called, we call it as a bankruptcy. I think so. You come across this word in economics. You come across this word in economics, in banking sector. Money market. While you study the money market, you come across banking. In the banking, you come across the bankruptcy. France was in bankruptcy. Why bankruptcy? Previous war of Louis XV and Louis XVI's wrong decision making. What wrong decision making? Financial aid to the 13 American colonies during American Revolution created the bankruptcy for France. He don't have any money. How to run France? How to run the France? He was having that problem. How to run France without money? See, without money we cannot run any country. Without money we cannot run any country. How we can run any country without money? The same problem that is facing by Louis XVI. Louis XVI. What he did, Louis XVI, what he did was the only one solution for getting money, the only one solution for getting money to the government is introduction of new taxes. Introduction of new taxes. What is a procedure for introduction of new taxes? If Louis XVI want to introduce new taxes, means new money would come to the government. For example, now we are introducing new tax, means more money would go to the government. So the government can able to run the administration very easily because it is having money in hand because of introduction of the new taxes. So introduction of the new tax is the only possible way of getting money to the government. But for introducing these new taxes to the government, he needed to get the support. Support of whom? He need to get the support of the clergy, noble, and the commoners. He need to get the support of the clergy, noble, and the commoners, because these were the tax paying people, but these two were the privileged, not paying any taxes. These were the majority of the people who are paying the taxes there. So if he introduced new taxes, then automatically money would come to the government. How to introduce new taxes? Louis XVI in 1789 called for an assembly of estates, called for the assembly of the 3 estates, not the 3rd estate, 3 estates. 3 estates, first estate, second estate, third estate. All the 3 estates he called for an assembly meeting. Okay, first estate, second estate, third estate, you all come, we can discuss, because I don't have money. So if I want to run France, I need money. For the money, I am going to introduce new taxes. So I want to get the support of you. First estate, second estate, third estate, you come for a meeting. And now for the first time, after 175 years, after 175 years, for the first, after 175 years, for the first time, all the three estate people are called to assemble in a single place. All the three estate people were called to assemble in a single place for the first time. Now, the third estate people are thinking, what they are thinking, this is our time. We have to take opportunity. If we don't take opportunity now, definitely we will not in the future. What opportunity we have to take? See, we are bearing the tax burden. These clergy people or noble people are not paying any taxes. First, we have to ask the king, if you if these clergy and noble people are paying the taxes, then only we are going to pay the taxes. First thing. So, equality in taxation is the most important one thing for the commoners. The commoners are thinking of bringing clergy, pay tax, noble, pay tax. Then we are also paying the taxes. Next thing, clergy, church, why you are having so much of land? Noble, you are having so much of land. But see, we commoners people don't have any land at all. We are having very less amount, very less land. So, distribute the land to the commoners. So you have to distribute the land to the commoners also. So we need more land. They are asking for equality in taxation. They are asking for more land, property, wealth. They are asking for more property there. That is the land. They are asking for land. Now they are thinking like this. And the commoners have few of the people from the commoners went to the king and met the king. Emperor Louis XVI, this is our problem. We have bring certain things to you. You have to hear this. Tell me, what is your problem? King, see, these clergy people, noble people are not paying any taxes regularly, because they were privileged class. We only paying the taxes. Hereafter, if you want to accept the introduction of new taxes, you have to bring equality in the taxes. They are asking for equality in taxes. One. Equality in the taxes. One. Next thing, we need more land. Distribute the land from the church and the nobles to us. So we need more land. Give more land to the people. They are asking. The commoners are asking. When this memorandum was put before the king was shocked. How can you ask these things? They were the privileged people. They can't pay any taxes because that is a privilege. They are enjoying. And I won't give any land to you. I won't give any land to you. See, that is also impossible. What the king did it was, the king completely ignored the demand of the commoners. Now, when this information came to know for the commoners, the entire common people, I told you only few people went and met the king. When these people who came from the king and told the entire people that our demand is not accepted by the king, and the king have rejected our demand, the anger was mounted among the commoners. How king can do like this? Already he is an inefficient one. All power was in his hand, and he was making a country like a debt burden, and nothing money was in this country, and we are paying more taxes. Already we are in poverty and in miserable condition. So the commoners are getting angry, more and more angry. Why they are getting more and angry? They can't able to tolerate hereafter. And now the commoners not able to tolerate all these things, and what they did it was the commoners went to the king with angry and told that, see, if you do like this, we are not going to tolerate all these things. And now And now this estate thing, that is the first estate, the second estate, and the third estate is not going to work at all. All these things is not going to work at all. Work at all. So we have to abolish this thing. So the people are demanding for abolishing the estate system. If you want to accept your introduction of the new taxes, we want you to abolish this estate system. That is, very simply, they are asking for the abolition or cancel. Simple language, cancellation. You in the bracket, you keep it as abolition of feudalism. They're asking for abolition of the feudalism. They're asking for abolition of the feudalism. But the king was not agreed for them. No, I won't agree for the feudalism. And we won't accept you. We won't accept all these things. And what the people did it was, the people get angry. And in the Paris city, it is a France. And in France, that is in the middle part, we have the Paris city. In the Paris city, the king is present in the very near, a very long distance from there. In the south of France, there was a palace called Palace of Versailles. Understand? Versailles is a palace of Versailles. He was staying there in the Palace of Versailles. The king was staying in the Palace of Versailles. Paris city was a very long distance from the Paris city. So the king was staying there in the Palace of Versailles, and the people here in Paris city was getting angry because of the king who rejected the demand of the commonest people. And now in the Paris city, the commonest people took everything, whatever the thing that come to their hand. They took the stick, they took the knife, and they took the stone, and some of them took the spear, and they were all went into one fort. They were all run into a one fort, and the name of the fort was Prison Bastilla. Bastilla, like our Tihar jail. Think it of like our Tihar jail. It is a prison, like a jail. It is a jail, Bastilla, but we call it as a prison Bastilla. Prison Bastilla was one of the strongest prison in France, where all criminals was there. Whoever speak against the king, whoever speak against the royal family, whoever speak against queen, whoever speak against France, whoever speak against the royal family and France was put into this prison Bastilla. They were tortured here, like Tihar jail. In Tihar jail, we are not torturing any person. Okay, we are not torturing any person. But Tihar jail is very famous jail here in India. Most of the criminals is there. Dangerous criminals are here in India. They are in the Tihar jail only. So the prison Bastilla was a important prison there. So the Paris city people took everything, whatever the thing they come to the hand, and they went to the prison Bastilla, and they started to hit the prison, and they started to bombard the prison. Think it of. The Paris city people were 50,000 people. The prison was guarded by only 200 prisoners. It was started by only 200 police people. Only 200 police people was there. These 200 police people cannot able to control the 50,000 Paris city people. All the people, when the 200 police people who were guarding the prison came to know about the 50,000 Paris city people with all kind of weapon in their hand coming towards the prison, and they ran out of the prison and the doors were opened. All the 50,000 people went into the prison and took everything, whatever the thing that comes to the hand. In the prison, they had lot of guns. They had got lot of gunpowder, that is arms and ammunitions, gun, bullet, and everything was there. They took all the thing and they started to bombard the prison. They bombarding the prison, and they completely bombarded the prison. I will show you the picture. Wait, I will show you the picture for you. See here. See here. See here. The commoners people here. See the commoners. These people are the commoners. And these people are commoners, and they're bombarding the prison. See here, they're bombarding the prison. That is how they are bombarding the prison. If you want to have a clear one more picture, I will show you the clear one more picture to you. That is the one thing. See here, they're bombarding the prison. See here, the prison is in flame. The prison is burning down. They set fire to the prison, and the prison bastilla is burning down and burning down. And you see here, and see here, the commonest people got the weapon, all the thing. They got gun. See, they got sickle, and they got the knife, and everything they got it. So the prison bastilla was bombarded. The prison bastilla was bombarded. Okay. So the prison bastilla bombardment is considered to be one of the important stage in the French Revolution. So this was happened in 1789. 1789, prison bastilla bombardment. Prison bastilla bombardment. Okay. Prison bastilla bombardment, prison bastilla was bombarded. Okay. And now the king, when the king came to know about this thing, this is the Paris city, and this is palace Versailles. I told you. When the king came to know about the incident that was happened in the Paris city, where they bombarded the prison bastilla, the king completely closed the every doors of the palace of Versailles. He shut all the doors, and he increased the royal guards who was keeping, who was guarding the palace of Versailles. Royal guards is a royal police. So he increased the strength of the royal police, and he increased the security around the palace of Versailles. In case of fear, he thought that some of the people may come to royal palace. He thought it. So he increased the security of the palace of Versailles. There, the commonest people think that no, we don't want to hear after the king, and we have to prepare a constitution for France. We have to prepare a constitution of France. And now one group of people preparing a constitution. Who were these people? We don't know. It was did by the commoners only. Preparing a constitution for France. Preparing a constitution for France. Who? The commoners. One set of commoners people preparing a constitution for France, because if we have a constitution, then we limit the power of a king in the constitution, so it is easy for people to get more power as per the constitution. So they are preparing constitution for France. This was happening 1789, 1790. This was happening on this occasion. And in 1791, they have introduced a new constitution. What is this new constitution? According to I write it in a new page. According to the new constitution, France become a constitutional monarchy. France became a constitutional monarchy. constitutional monarchy. So it became a constitutional monarchy. The France became a constitutional monarchy, and they have a separate legislature. They have a separate legislature, and they have a separate executive. They have a separate executive, and they have a separate judiciary. Judiciary. This legislature only, the state is separated. Sorry. They have a separate legislature, they have a separate executive, and they have a separate judiciary. And now, the religion, the French religion of the church is completely separated out of the state. It is a separate one. There is no relation between the church and the state or the French king. Constitutional monarchy, and under the constitutional monarchy, they have a separate legislature, executive, and the judiciary. And the legislature would be elected by the people. So it was a constitutional monarchy, and now this information was told to the king. King, we have framed a new constitution. According to the new constitution, you are going to be a constitutional monarchy. You have to work according to a constitution. And we have separate legislature, executive, and judiciary. Legislature would be elected by the people, like our system. The king came to know about this one. What foolishness you are talking? He told to the commonest people. When they framed a new constitution and they went to the king and they placed before the king, King, this is our new constitution. We have framed it. You have to accept this one. They told the king. King replied, what a foolishness thing you have done. How can you made me as a constitutional monarchy? He asked the thing. How can you made me as a constitutional monarchy? He told that I am absolute monarch. How can you made me as a constitutional monarch? What is mean the absolute monarch? Absolute monarch means he is answerable only to the God, not to the people. How can I answerable to you people? I am not answerable to you people. I am answerable only to the God. How can you reduce my power as a constitutional monarchy? You have done a foolishness. You did a blunder. You did a mistake. I am not going to accept this one. The king told that. No, I am not going to accept this one. This is a foolish thing because you people don't have any power to make me as a constitutional monarchy because you don't have power. The power I get it only from God. He told that. I have the power received only from the God. I am answerable only to the God, not you people. So I am not going to accept this constitution. I am not going to accept this one. The people told that whether you are going to accept it or not, this is the constitution. You have to accept it. If you don't accept it, we don't want a king hereafter. We common as people, 90% of the population is going to hereafter reject the king for the France, and we are going to make it as a republic. 1791. When the king refused to accept this constitutional monarchy position, the commonest people announced France in 1791 as a republic. Republic means elected by the people, a country which run by the people. That is, without a king, they are running France. Without a king, they are running France means definitely there must be election. In election means definitely there must be some political party. There were two political parties in France during the time. Political parties. What were the two political parties in France during the time? There were two political parties. One was Jacobins. I think you heard about the Jacobians in modern India. Tipu Sultan is related to Jacobian. And the another one was Girondist. Jacobians and Girondist. See, this Jacobians was the reality people. Reality. What is to what they were the reality people. Okay, this is the real thing. We have to accept this one. So this is the we have to do reality. This is the reality. But these Girondist people are idealist, keeping moral, ethical principles and all these things. They were called as a idealist. Gandhian principle or ideals. This is not able to follow ahimsa. A man cannot be an ahimsa. If one man slapped on if one man slapped on one's chin, how it is possible? How can he follow the ahimsa? But that is the principle. That is the principle of ahimsa, non-violence by Gandhi, and also the Jesus Christ. But in reality, if he slaps one face, what would happen? We have to get another slap. Definitely that is happened. So Jacobians are reality people. If you are going to slap one person, definitely you are going to get one or two slap in return. That is the Jacobians reality. That is a reality. But these Girondists are, if you slap me, I won't slap you. I accept that one because I did a blunder. Like this, idealist. They were the dreamist. Idealist people. Okay, so the political parties which presented in France during the times were the Jacobians and Girondists. They contested in the election. As per the new constitution, and majority of the people elected in that was the Girondist. Majority of the people elected in that time was a Girondist. Majority of the people elected in the election were the Girondist. Okay, coming back to our story. So Girondist were the majority elected to parliament. Elected to the parliament. Okay, that is the time. Girondist. 1791. Okay. So this was happening. 1791. This was one thing. The people have not accepted the king, and without king they formed a republic. In that republic, they conducted an election. Two political parties, Girondists and Jacobians, are contested in the election, and majority of the elected people were the Girondists. That is the thing. King came to know here about all these things. He is in Palace of Versailles. What is happening there? Political parties are conducting the election. Okay, let it be. Okay, they are electing. Okay. And now the king wanted to get the help of army by this time. How can I be here in the Palace of Versailles be for a very long time? This is Paris and he is in the Palace of Versailles. How can I be here in the Palace of Versailles for a very long time? So I have to get control of this one. These peoples are going in a very wrong way. I need to get the power once again. I need to become the Emperor of France. Louis XVI thinking. And that is also advised by his wife Mary Antonia. And Mary Antonia, I told you, she was a princess from Austria. I told you, she was a princess from Austria. I told you, his brother was only the king of Austria. So Mary Antonia was asking the help of Austria, his brother. Brother, we are here as a prisoner here in France. You come and help. You come along with the army, and you come along with the army, and you control this Paris city people, and you try to help us. He's asking for the help of his brother, who was a king of Austria. When Austrian king received the information of this one, and immediately he came along to fight with he come along with the army to the Palace of Versailles, who was like a prisoner there in the Palace of Versailles. When the commonest people 90% of the population. When the commonest people came to know, about the arrival of the Austrian army, panic, fear was among the people. What fear they got it? If the Austrian army come for the help of the Louis XVI, definitely Louis XVI is going to get more power. If he get more power, definitely he is going to end the republic. Once again, we are going to be like a absolute monarchy. So we don't want France to become once again absolute monarchy. We want France to be like this republic only. So what the people of France did it was they started to oppose the Austrian army which was coming. They started to oppose means they started to they have decided to fight. Now the commoners of the French state decided to fight against the army which was coming from Austria, and that leads to a war between France and Austria. War between France and Austria. France means here it was run by commoners. So France and Austria was fighting. Here in France, the army was led by the commoners only. Now the commoners from the France was fighting against the Austria who was wanted to help Louis XVI and Mary Antonia in the palace of Versailles, who was removed out of the kingship, and made France as a republic. Now the war continued for 3 years, 1793. Continued for 2 years up to 1793. In 1793, France won the war. Commoners won the war, and Austria was defeated. Austria was defeated. What the commoners did it was, we have to punish the king. What he did it, because this war is because of what? This war was because of Mary Antonia and Louis XVI asking the help of Austria. Because of that only Austria come for war with France, and because of that only we commoners had war for 2 years. Many commoners people were died because of this war of Louis XVI and Mary Antonia. They have to face the punishment. What punishment they have to face? The republic announced that death penalty for the king and the queen, and in 1793, the king Louis XVI and Mary Antonita was executed. Louis XVI and Mary Antonita were executed. I show you the picture. Yes, that was the execution of the Louis XVI. That was the execution of the Louis XVI, who was executed by the method of a device that is called guillotine. A device that is called guillotine. Guillotine is nothing but a blade. That is a blade. That is a rope connected, and the rope, when they pull the rope and the blade would goes up, when they release the rope, the blade would come down. That is a blade, and the head would be cut off. And Louis XVI was executed. Following Louis XVI, Queen Mary Antoinette was also executed. So in 1793, Louis XVI and Mary Antoinette were executed, and now France was become complete republic. France was become complete republic without king, and no more king. It became the first republic. It became the first republic. Okay, coming to our point. Why the third estate people, commoners, are getting more angry? Why? What is the reason behind that? Why suddenly in 1789 they got angry? Why they killed the king in 1793 immediately and all these things? Because of the role of the intellectuals, the role of ideas. These people, John Locke, Hobbes, Montesquieu, Voltaire, Rousseau, all these people belong to what era? All these people belong to the era of Renaissance. So what was the reason for the French people to make a revolution? The reason for the French people to make a revolution was ideas of Renaissance. What was a slogan used by the people during the French Revolution? The slogan used by the French people during the French Revolution against the king was liberty. Liberty means independent. Equality, we want equality. Equality in taxation, equality in land. Liberty, equality, and fraternity. What is mean by fraternity? Fraternity means brothers. All are brothers, all are sisters. But fraternity here means masculine only. That is 18th century. Now only we have added brothers and sisters. That is 20th century concept. Sisters we have added, another gender we have added, but in the 18th century they called only brotherhood. That is liberty, equality, and fraternity. Why liberty? Because this liberty, independent, was told by the Renaissance people, the Renaissance ideas. Equality, what? All are equal. Renaissance idea. All are belong to one world. All are belong to one unity, that is brotherhood. That was called fraternity. So the people of French Revolution, the commoners people, used this as a slogan. That is liberty, equality, and fraternity in 1793. During the French Revolution, and they executed the king in 1793. Okay, clear? Once again, I revising from 1789 up to this 1793. I summarize because we have few of the interruption. I summarize the thing. When Louis XVI was facing the financial problem and he don't know how to manage the financial problem because he don't have any money to run the France, but he had only one choice, and that choice was introduction of new taxes. But if he want to introduce a new taxes, he has to get the support of the first estate, second estate, third estate. So he has to get the support. When he called for all the three estate people after 175 years for the first time to get assembled in a single place, commoners, third estate people thought that this is our time. We have to take opportunity and we have to utilize this opportunity to get all things corrected. They went to the king. Few commoners went to the king and placed a demand before the king. What demand they placed before the king? They placed a demand that taxation should be equal for all. We need more land. They are asking for more land and equality in taxation. But the king rejected this. Because of this, commoners got angry. Why they got angry? Already they were in misery, poverty, and facing lot of tax difficulty. Added to this, the demand was also rejected, and the commoners people took everything in the Paris city, 50,000 around approximately. They went to the prison Bastilla and they bombarded the prison Bastilla, took all the weapons from the prison Bastilla, and this was continued. And now another group of commoners people framing a new constitution for France to limit the power of the king, and they introduce a new constitution that is called constitutional monarchy. Now the king is not accepting the constitutional monarchy because he told that I am not answerable to you people, I am answerable only to the God. I am getting power from the God because of the divine theory, what we saw yesterday, divine theory. So he rejected that. When the king rejected that, the commoners people thought that we don't need a king, and they announced it in France as a republic, 1791. And from 70, immediately they conducted a election. Two political parties contested in the election, that was the Jacobians and the Girondists. Jacobians were the reality people and the Girondists were the idealist people. But unfortunately, majority of the people elected were the idealists, that was the Girondist people. And by this time, things were getting more and more problem for king. What he did was, Louis XVI and Mary Antoinette asked the help of his brother, Mary Antoinette's brother, Austrian king, to get the army support. Even though French army was there, French army soldiers are from where? Commoners only. So the king thought that French soldiers would not support to the royal family because they were also from the soldiers were also from the commoner side, so they may defect. If they defected, we would get problem. That's why they are asking help from Austria. When Austria come for war with France, the French commoners people defeated the French army in 1793, and the commoners people thought that the war was because of Louis XVI and Mary Antoinette, who asked help from the Austria, so we have to punish them. The punishment what they gave was the execution of Louis XVI and Mary Antoinette. So in 1793, king and queen were executed. France become complete republic. That is where we ended. Okay, we can have a break, 5 minutes break we can have. Okay, we resume. Now it is 12:05. We resume by 12:10. Okay. Yes, coming back coming back to the session. Two things. The two interesting thing in the French Revolution, but anyhow it is not examination point of view, but I will tell you here. I tell you that is not examination point of view, but it is a very popular thing in the French Revolution, but we must know as a civil service aspirant. First thing is the first thing is why that commoners people can't able to tolerate. I told you it was a tax burden, one thing. Second thing, the role of the intellectual. And the third thing, they were already in poverty and misery, I told you. In the poverty and misery, what triggered them most was, for many long years, wheat production in France was very less. From wheat only they can able to make bread. Because of the less wheat production, there was very less bread, there was less making of the bread. There was shortage of bread there in France during the time of the French Revolution. And the bread bakers have completely black marketed the bread production. Only royal people can able to get the bread. And commonest people cannot able to get it. If they pay more, they can able to get it. But there was no money within the commonest people. And now, because of the shortage of because of this, there was huge shortage of bread. What the commonest people did it was, they went to the bakery and started to break the doors of the bakery, and they started to loot the bakery. For food only they looted, not money. They looted the bread from the bakery. So that was called bread riot there in France during the time of the French Revolution. Because of shortage of bread, that is also one of the reasons triggering the French Revolution there in France. That is what I told you, poverty and misery. This is one thing you keep it in mind. Second reason, when the bread shortage was there, when this information was got to Queen Mary Antoinette, she told that if the people don't have bread to eat, ask them to eat cake and chocolate. She told that. She thought that cake and chocolate is very lesser and less price than the bread she thought it as. That was a statement which was given by her. But it was very popular during the time of the French Revolution. Once again, I'm repeating the word, that is, if the people don't have bread to eat, ask them to eat cake and chocolate. This was told by Queen Mary Antoinette during the time of the French Revolution. This was very popular among the people. People get more angry because of this one. We are suffering of no bread, no food at all, but the queen is, without understanding our position, she is asking for to eat cake and chocolate. She thought cake and chocolate is much lesser than bread. Bread is very less actually. So they thought that royal family didn't understand the life of a common people. They can't really know what is the condition of the common people. That is, in reality, what was, she don't know what is the condition of the commoners people. She gave a statement. That statement triggered the common people, and that was a reason for the anger of the common people over the royal family. That vengeance was, that is the anger of the commoners people over the royal family, Queen Mary Antoinette and the Louis XVI. That's why they have punished them for all the thing. The punishment is not only for all the reason they were punished. For all the reason they were punished. Okay, that is the thing. So these were not examination point of view, but it help you in understanding somewhere else. And we must know it. As a French Revolution, we must know it. Okay. Now that is the reign of terror phase. The reign of terror phase. The reign of terror phase. The reign of terror phase, 1793, 1795, the reign of terror phase. What is the reign of the terror phase? I told you there were two political parties during this time. One was a Girondist, and the other one was a Jacobians. The Jacobians were the realist, and the Girondists were the idealist. Still, if you are getting confused in idealist and realist, you can use another word from the modern India point of view. Girondists were like our moderates of modern India, and Jacobians were the extremes, extremes in thought, extremes in action. Okay, this is an optional for our understanding. Okay, moderates, the Girondists were the very moderates like our modern India moderates. The Jacobians were the extremes like our modern India extremes, extremists in thought and in action. Okay, now the king was executed immediately. Already there was a republic, and now what occasion the France faced was now the republic was facing another election. I told you in 1791 they removed the king, and the king not accepting anything, they conducted a election, and Girondists were very popularly elected there. And now in 1793 they are facing a new problem without any king, and now they are having another election in 1793, another new election they are facing. And in this new election of 1793, Jacobians were elected popularly. Jacobians were majoritarily elected. Why the majority Jacobians were elected? Because the people get promised means attracted. The people were get attracted to the ideas of the Jacobians. What the Jacobians told that we are going to give land for all. We are going to taxes all the people invariably, and we are going to make France as the strongest nation. And France is not going to bow for anyone. Like this, they gave lot of promises to the people, and they popularly elected in the 1793 election. Because of that, the commoners voted majority for the Jacobians. You can ask, sir, what is the role of the first clergy and the second noble class? Only true clergy, true nobles were present in France, except other people were escaped out of France in fear of life. Yes, they all escaped out of France. Only true clergy, only true noble who were with the people, who know the problem of the people, who were connected with the people, were present in France. All other people who squandered the wealth of the people, the noble who squandered the wealth of the people, the clergy and the church which squandered the wealth of the people, were escaped out of France in saving their life because of the danger what they face in France. Only true clergy, true nobles were present there, and they were connected with the people. They were along with the people. The people never harmed those very good man, good clergy and good noble were nothing harm. There was no harm for those people who were present in France itself. Others only escaped out of France. Okay, they were also participated in the election. They were also voted for them. So majority of the Jacobians were elected. And now the leader of the Jacobians was Robespierre. Robespierre. P-I-A R-R-E, Robespierre was a leader of the Jacobians. Robespierre, what he did, he brought strict laws. He brought very strict laws. No, you must not go out of the house like this one, go out of the house after 6 o'clock like this one. Everyone has to pay the taxes like this one. And if anyone was considered to be a suspicious, he would be punished without any inquiry like this one. And because of the Jacobians rule, where the strict laws were followed under the head of the Robespierre, France was facing a new danger. What new danger? No inquiry. If anyone was suspicious by the Jacobian government, he may be he may be considered to be as a one of a relative of a king. Bring him and he would be executed. He is supporting for the king. Execute him. He is speaking against France. He is speaking against. If anyone speak against the government, Jacobean government, if anyone speak against the Republic of France, they would be executed without any trial. I will tell you one more example for you. You can able to understand it. In modern India, in 1919, there was a law. Issued by the government. 1919. What is that law? Rowlatt law. Rowlatt law. You know what Rowlatt law? In the Rowlatt law, there is no any court inquiry. They can come and arrest. They can put it in the jail, or even they can punish him. Even they can give the death penalty there. That is called Rowlatt law. Same like this, which was introduced by the British government. Rowlatt law. Like that, the Jacobians introduced a very strict law. Because of that, whoever considered to be as a suspicious one, whoever is considered to be as a cheater to the government, whoever is considered to be as a traitor to the government, they were all executed without any inquiry. Because of that, thousands and thousands of people were killed in France between 1793 to 1795. That's why that was called as a reign of terror. Reign of terror means thousands and thousands. Thousands of people were killed. Thousands of people were killed without inquiry. Without inquiry. Without inquiry by whom? Without inquiry by the Jacobians government. Without inquiry by the Jacobians government, under whose leadership? Robespierre. Robespierre. See, if we want to arrest anyone, we need to have a proper trial. We need to have a proper inquiry. And if he found through the trial and inquiry, he as a guilty, then we can punish him. Without inquiry, without any trial, how we can punish anyone? Don't you think that is a justified one? No, that is not a justified one. So that is what happened in France. No justification, no trial, nothing at all. Simply they were executing. How they killed all the people? Guillotine. The guillotine was rolling down to the street. If they found anyone suspicious, they dragged him out of the house and they put them into the guillotine and they executed. Now that's all over. The guillotine would roll down to the next street. Like that, they killed thousands and thousands of people. And now, at one point of time in 1795, other Jacobian members thought that Robespierre is going too extreme. No, he is going too dangerous. We need to stop them. If he allows Robespierre to go in such a length, in such an extreme, we have to face the difficulty. We need to stop Robespierre. Other Jacobian leaders asked Robespierre, you please slow down. You please slow down. It is not fair. It is not good enough. You please go slow. Robespierre never listened. And at last, the Jacobian leaders thought that it is wise. We have to end Robespierre. At last, what they did was they arrested Robespierre. They arrested the Jacobian leader, other Jacobian leaders arrested Robespierre, even though he was a leader. And they arrested because he cannot able to get majority there. And now the other Jacobian leaders arrested Robespierre and conducted a trial for Robespierre. At least he got trial. And they gave it and put Robespierre on a trial. In the trial, they found Robespierre was guilty. What guilty he did it? He used the law in an unfair way. He never used the law according to the constitutional method. He violated every rules. He violated all the principles. He violated the Constitution of France. So he should be punished. What is a punishment? Guillotine, death penalty. So at last in 1795, Robespierre was executed. At last in 1795, 1795, Robespierre was executed. With the execution of Robespierre, the reign of terror phase came to an end. With the execution of Robespierre, the reign of terror phase came to an end. Why? See, Robespierre concentrated all power in his hand. That is what the danger. He is not a king, but all power in his hand. Understand? He was not a king, he was not a emperor, he was only merely a government servant in the republic who was a leader of the Jacobians, which were popularly elected by the election, but all power in his hand. That is absolute power. Absolute power was in the hand of Robespierre. That is a danger. Now the French Republic Parliament thought that it is danger to give power to single man. Instead of that, we distribute the power. Now we are moving to the directory phase. 1795 to 1799. I told you, Robespierre had all power in his hand, absolute power, which was very danger. Because of that only, he used those power in a unfair way. So at last, what they did, they ended by executing Robespierre. What they thought it was, we have to distribute power. We have to separate the power. We have to distribute the power. So in the directory phase, they thought that it is to distribute the power. Distribute the power. Who? French Republic. The French Republic. French Republic means here, French Republic means decided by what? Parliament. The French Parliament. That is a deciding authority. French Republic means French Parliament decided to distribute the power. Distribute the power to whom? Distribute the power to 5-member committee. 5-member committee. 5-member committee. This 5-member committee is called directory. That is what we are having. Directory. I told you the concept here. I told you in the introduction of French Revolution itself here. This is not much examination point of view, but we need to understand for the continuation of the history. I tell you the concept here. So here the French Parliament, the French Republic had distributed the power to the 5-member committee, which was called as a directory. Now, what was a danger facing by France? What was a danger facing by France? I show you a picture. France. Holy Roman Empire. Prussia. Austria. Poland. There Russia, leave it. Okay. Spain. England, British. No Italy. Loosely attached states. This was the map there. And now Louis XVI was executed. France is crying the slogan of liberty, liberty, equality, and fraternity. Okay, now what France was doing was, France people, the commoners, the France people, the commonest people, they wanted to give this liberty, equality, and fraternity not only for the French people, the people who present in Holy Roman Empire, the people who present in Spain, the people who present in Austria, the people who present in Prussia. Very simply, they want to liberate the people from the Holy Roman Empire. They want to liberate the people from the Prussian feudalism. They want to liberate the people from the Austrian feudalism. What is feudalism? Estate. First estate, second estate, third estate. Understand? So the French people wanted to give this liberty, equality, and fraternity to the Spanish people. They want to break the feudalism from France, from Spain. They want to liberate the people from feudalism of Holy Roman Empire. The people of France wanted to liberate the Prussian people from the feudalism, first estate, second estate, third estate. And they want to liberate the people Austria from the first estate, second estate, and third estate feudalism. Now France was in a mood of going war with the Holy Roman Empire, going war with Prussia, going war with Austria, going war with Spain. Now Spain, Holy Roman Empire, Prussia, and Austria found that France is very danger for them. Can able to understand that? France was danger for Spain, because if they export, simply understand, exporting the liberty, equality, fraternity idea, definitely feudalism would abolished from the Spain. If the feudalism, how feudalism abolished in France? By the execution of the king. So here, if they abolish the feudalism here in Spain, definitely the Spanish king would be executed by the people of Spain. If the Holy Roman Empire feudalism is abolished, means definitely the Holy Roman Empire people would kill the emperor of Holy Roman Empire. So the Prussian people is going to execute the same Prussian king, because that is only possible way. So like French Revolution, Spain would also there is a possibility of a revolution. In Prussia also there is a possibility of a revolution. In Austria also there is a possibility of a revolution. In Holy Roman Empire also there is a possibility of revolution by the people. So there is a possibility of election everywhere in the Europe because of this France. So we need to control this France, which is in a dangerous position. Who think it like that? Spain think it like that. Holy Roman Empire think it like that. Prussia think it like that. Austria think it like that. So what they decided, they asked for England, do something. We are facing a great danger. You are one of the powerful country. We have to face this problem and what to do the solution. England, along with these countries, decided that only possible way to control France from this kind of danger was to going war with France. What we need to do? We have to go war with France on controlling the commoners there in France, and once again we need to go for war. And now the France was facing the danger. France was facing the danger of war. War with whom? With England, British, with Spain, with Holy Roman Empire, HRE I write it as Holy Roman Empire, with Austria, with Prussia, and some other small states there. I have not written smaller states. I have only written the bigger states here. So France was, they are all coming for war. They are all coming for war with France. Okay, now they are coming for war now with France. Now who is ruling the French Republic? Directory, 5-member committee. Directory, the 5-member committee. 5-member committee is ruling the France. Now France was facing the danger of war. Now who can save France on this time? Who, in this occasion? France was facing the danger of war, and who can save France? No, that is not an idealist. Definitely. See, if they are going for war, which one is most important one? Equipment means what? Yes, that is the thing. So France can be saved only by army. Army, can you able to understand? France can be saved only by army. So strongest army is necessary for France. On this occasion, the Directory appointed one man and depend on one man who was very famous in the French army, and he was Napoleon Bonaparte. Bonaparte. Can you able to understand how Napoleon started to rise? So occasion came for Napoleon to rise. So this is an occasion where the necessity of army is there, because only army can save France from all these kind of danger. Very simply understand, external danger towards France. Who can save from this external danger? Only army. Army is army can only save. On this occasion, Napoleon Bonaparte saved France from this danger. He was only major. He was not a general of French army. He was only a major of the French army. But he courageously fought against these powers. And Napoleon Bonaparte went and he defeated the Spain, and he defeated the Holy Roman Empire, and he defeated the Austrians, and he defeated the Prussia. How it was possible? We don't know. That is history. Napoleon's tactics, Napoleon's strategy, his chivalry, and his valor, that played a crucial role in all these things. That is 1795 to 1799. That is 70 Directory phase. And Napoleon fought against all these people, all these countries, and everywhere he won the battle. He won Spain. He won against Holy Roman Empire. He won against Austria, and Napoleon Bonaparte won against Prussia. Before, in 1709, he started as a major in 1795. In 1799, he was made as a general of the French army. General, leader of French army, general of French army. The French army started to praise him. Without Napoleon, there is no France in 1799. That was a position, because he only saved France from all this danger. And they thought that Napoleon was sent by God. Napoleon was sent by God to save them from all this danger. They thought he was a God-sent man. And they found that the 5-member committee, even though it worked very well, Napoleon thought that we don't want a 5-member committee, we want to reduce that into 3-member committee. Now the French Republic is going for another transformation, that is called council phase. 1799 to 1804 phase. Council phase means 3-member committee. The 3-member committee. In this three-member committee, Napoleon was the first council. Napoleon was the first council. Napoleon was the SEL. Napoleon was the first council. He appointed himself as a first council. Three-member committee was a council phase, and Napoleon appointed himself as a first council. There is not much information here in the council phase. Already he defeated everyone there, and he made France as the strongest country in the European continent because of this one. By this time, people thought that Napoleon was sent by God to save from all these danger. Everyone's talking about Napoleon. If you thought of Napoleon, if you read the history, he had a very great achievement. But the physical figure of Napoleon and his achievement is mismatch always. He is a small man, 5 foot. 5 foot only he was. Very small man, up to this height only. He was up to this height only. He was a very tall. He was a very short man, but he has a very great strength and valor. Okay, so council phase. In the council phase, he appointed himself as a first council, and he was very popular among the people. And in next one, emperor phase. 1804 to 1815. What is this emperor phase? In this phase, Napoleon announced himself as Emperor of France. Emperor of France. He announced himself as a Emperor of France. Sir, how it is possible to announce himself as a emperor? That is a peculiarity here. I told you, from the directory phase into the council phase, he was very popular among the people. And the people started to think that he was sent by God to save France from all these danger. He utilized that opportunity. And he spoke in the French Republic, in the French Parliament, that if you want this republic to be continued, this is going to be a republic. Instead of this republic, I am going to be the emperor for this France. But one change here is, Louis XVI was a hereditary emperor. Before that, Louis XV. Before that, Louis XIV. Before that, Louis XIII. So they were hereditary. They were father, son, grandson, like this. But now, in this emperor, you are going to be elected me as a emperor. You people of France, you are going to be elected me as a emperor. If you wish to become if you wish me, Napoleon, as a emperor of France, you elect me. He conducted an election for emperor, and the people majority voted him as a emperor, and he became the Emperor of France. People's emperor. Only small change. People's emperor. So he was going to be the king, emperor, but that king was elected by the people. That is the thing. So this was elected by the people. Elected by the people. Now, so the emperor phase is 1804 to 1815. 1804 to 1815. Okay. 1804 to 1815. Okay. I will show you. Yesterday we saw this map. Once again, I want you to remind this map here and just see this map. Holy Roman Empire, Kingdom of France, Austria, Prussia, Poland, Russia, Ottoman Empire, Kingdom of Spain. Okay. Have you seen this map? Have you keep it in mind all boundaries, all the countries, boundaries and name? Okay, clear. Okay. See here. See the European continent in see the European continent in 1810. See the European continent in 1810. How the map was transformed. No change in Portugal Empire. No change in Spanish Empire. See, French Empire. French Empire have extended up in the eastern side, and the French Empire have go up to the half of the present Italy, and it come down to the half of the somewhat to the Spain, and it extended. See, the French Empire have expanded in the eastern direction and in the southern direction. Can you able to understand it? And another thing, Confederation of Rhine, what absented here? Holy Roman Empire disappeared. Holy Roman Empire disappeared. Where it vanished? Is it was something vanished in the air? No, I will tell you. And Austrian Empire, Prussia extended up to here. And the Russian Empire, Poland was also disappeared. There is no Poland here. In that place, we got one more called Warsaw, Grand Duchy of Warsaw. Poland disappeared. Russian Empire was same. What is the reason behind that? I will tell you. What is the reason behind that? I will tell you. Okay. Okay. When Napoleon became the Emperor of France in 1804, he had a dream. He had a dream. And he wanted to rule this European continent. He wanted to rule this European continent. When he thought about his wait, just a minute. Okay. Okay. When Napoleon became the emperor of France, he had a dream of ruling the European continent. And what he did it was, he immediately did it was, if you want to rule this European continent, first thing, we have to break the superpower of the world. What was the superpower of the world during the time? The superpower of the world in the 19th century was in modern day you studied that is called the United Kingdom, Great Britain. How to defeat this Great Britain? He thought that because Great Britain was having an excellent trade. It traded to all the countries in the European continent, and almost all it traded to the it supplied goods to the entire European continent. Anything if you want in Europe, that would be traded by the British merchant. The British merchant would sell everything to the Europe. So simply British goods and British traders were sending all commodities to the European market. So Napoleon thought that it is impossible to defeat Great Britain at war. Impossible. If we want to defeat Great Britain, we have to first defeat the strength of the Great Britain. What is the strength of the British England? What is the strength of the British? The strength of the British is its economy. The strength of the British is its economy. If we attack the economy of Great Britain, then automatically it would break down. So how to attack the economy of the Great Britain? He thought, okay, what Great Britain is supplying to the European continent? Goods, everything. If we stop the goods of Great Britain to the European continent, what would happen to its economy? Completely economy would fall down. If the economy is fallen down, Great Britain would get weakened. So it is easy to defeat the economically a weakened country. So what Napoleon did was, he is asking for the support of the neighboring countries not to allow British goods in Spain, British goods in Holy Roman Empire, British goods in Norway, British goods in Austria, British goods in Prussia. He asked the king. When he spoke with the Spanish king, you don't allow British goods. It is my order. Spanish king told that, who are you to order me? How I have to accept your order? It is impossible. I won't accept your order. Immediately Napoleon went with the army and he defeated the Spanish king. And Spain was defeated by France. Napoleon put his army in the coastal region of Spain and he blocked the entry of British goods there. Next, he went for the Holy Roman Empire. The Holy Roman Emperor not accepted that. He defeated the Holy Roman Empire. He defeated the Holy Roman Empire army. And he altogether abolished the entire Holy Roman Empire. In that place, he created a Confederation of Rhine. So, this Confederation of Rhine was created by Napoleon in the place of the Holy Roman Empire. In the place of Holy Roman Empire, he created the Confederation of Rhine. What is a country present here in the European continent today? Germany. So, I told you, Holy Roman Empire is nothing but present Germany. This Confederation of Rhine is also nothing but the present Germany. In this place today, we are having Germany. In that place only, after abolishing the Holy Roman Empire by Napoleon, Germany is present here. In that place only, Holy Roman Empire place only, he created the Confederation of Rhine. Next, Napoleon went for war with Prussia. He defeated the Prussians. He went for war with Austria and he defeated. All the people accepted the ideas of Napoleon and they accepted not to allow the British goods to enter into the European continent. So the entire Europe was sealed. The entire Europe was sealed for the entry of the British goods. Only one country was left. Only one empire was left at all at the last. That was Russia. Napoleon from Paris, he went with a 5 lakhs soldiers, a very large army. He grand marched to the capital of Russian Empire, that was Moscow. 1813 started his march. 1813. A grand Napoleon army marched towards Moscow and they reached Moscow in 1813. And no one was there in Moscow because the Russian Empire, the Russian Emperor, we called Russian King Emperor in the name called Tsar, with a title called Tsar. Tsar only we called him as. So the Tsar of Russia asked the Moscow city people to vacate because of the Napoleon's army which is coming towards Moscow. When Napoleon entered Moscow, no people was there in Moscow city. He waited for Tsar to come and approach him and to accept his idea. But the Tsar was not arrived yet. He waited there for 2 months, but it was too long. He started his return march 1813. In the same year, he started his return march. Unfortunately, the return march, what he started was in the winter. You know, that is a Siberian climatic zone. Winter of Siberian winter was very, very harsh, biting cold. The cold would bite, very severe cold. The Siberian winter was very harsh on that occasion, and the Napoleon army cannot able to tolerate that coldness because they were in the Mediterranean climatic zone. But they went for the Siberian climate. Even Siberian climate at winter. Now the climate winter started to harness the French army. They can't able to tolerate the chillness, and many French soldiers were died because of this one. 5 lakhs army they started, but only returned was 1 lakh. 4 lakhs soldiers were died because of this one. And now the enemies of Napoleon, Spanish, Portugal, Great Britain, Austria, Prussia, who were defeated by Napoleon earlier, thought that this is the occasion to defeat Napoleon, where he lost his soldiers, so this is the time. And they defeated Napoleon in a battle that is called Battle of Waterloo. Battle of Waterloo in 1815, where Napoleon was defeated at last in 1815. Battle of Waterloo. He was defeated. Already before that, there was one battle where Napoleon was defeated. And he was sent as a prisoner. And he was sent as a... See, in 1815 itself, he was defeated in one battle by the same powers, and he was sent as a prisoner to a small island here in Mediterranean Sea. But anyhow, he escaped out from that island, and once again he became the emperor, and once again all these power gathered around Napoleon against Napoleon in 1815. That was called the Battle of Waterloo. That is examination point of view. So Battle of Waterloo in 1815, and Napoleon was defeated. And he was sent as a prisoner to a very distant island at Atlantic Ocean. You find a very small, I show you the place. Where is that map? Okay, I will show you that anyhow. Saint Helena Island. This is in Atlantic Ocean. This island is in Atlantic Ocean. Okay. Just you refer with your map. I will show it to you that it is African continent. That it is the African continent. You find here the Angola country. Very near to the Angola, you find a very small island. That island is the Saint Helena. Saint Helena, where Napoleon was sent as a prisoner. Napoleon was sent as a prisoner. Okay. So, where Napoleon was sent as a prisoner. The idea, what was introduced by Napoleon, not allowing the British goods to enter into the European continent, that was called as continental system. See here, this is continental system. This is right. The Napoleon, the red mark which the red mark here shows you the where Napoleon blocked the British goods to enter into the European continent. This system, what was introduced by Napoleon, was called as the continental system. What is meant by continental system? Continental system means economic blockade. Economic blockade. Economic blockade introduced by whom? Napoleon. Economic blockade introduced by Napoleon against whom? Against British. Against British. For what purpose? For the purpose of defeating. For the purpose of defeating British economically. So once again I am saying continental system means what? Economic blockade, blocking British goods to enter into the European continent, which was introduced by Napoleon against British to defeat the British economically. Then only he can able to remove British as a superpower, then he can able to rule the European continent. That is dreaming of ruling the European continent. That is called the continental system. At last, he was defeated in the Battle of Waterloo and he was sent as a prisoner to Saint Helena, a distant island in the Atlantic Ocean. That it was happened. So that was the end of Napoleon and the end of French Revolution also. What problem this is going to face? Europe after the war. Next thing. I will say the books to you. Everyone is asking for that book only. I will show you what are the books to be read. There are two books, two NCERT. The first NCERT is The Story of Civilization. The Story of Civilization, old NCERT, 10th standard, authored by Arjun Dev. Authored by Arjun Dev. This is one book. You can get imperialism or you can 8th and 9th NCERT. New. You can have American and French Revolution. American and French Revolution. 8th and new NCERT. If you read any one of these NCERT, it is enough. This is up to World War I am saying. After World War II, I will tell you another book later, not now. The Story of Civilization, Old NCERT, 10th Standard by Arjun Dev. 8th and 9th NCERT, new NCERT, America and French Revolution, all these things you can able to get it. All these are in free download. Free download. It's in online. Online. You can get it in online itself. You can get it in online itself. There is no difficulty in getting all these things. Okay. We can end with this today. The French Revolution is ended. Okay. We can go for the doubt clarification session. Irka doubts, sir? Yes, tell me.
Hello, sir. Good afternoon, sir. Hello.
Hello. Yes, yes, yes.
Sir, my doubt is, you have said in 1791, the French became a republic and they framed their constitution and they have separated their powers. But
Yes,
how
yes.
come the how come the who's that?
How come
1
the
minute, sir. 1 minute. 1 minute, sir. Sir, how come the Robespierre became the supreme leader, sir?
He was no. In 1791, a constitution was introduced, but the king is not accepting for that constitution, so they made it as a republic. Correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So they conducted an election. Two political parties, Jacobian, Girondist was there, but during that time, majority elected was the Girondist. Clear?
Okay, sir.
Idealist. Okay. So on the time only, there was a war between France and Austria. Clear?
Okay, sir.
Okay. So in that war, Austria was defeated, France won the war. But the people thought that the reason and responsible for this war was royal family. Clear?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So they have to punish the royal family. So they executed the king, 1793. Okay, wa?
Okay, sir.
Okay. So this mismanagement and all these things, they thought that as long as there was a king, we had some kind of constitution and we have the thing. Now we are facing a new era. There is no king there and we face a new thing. So we have to conduct an election. The French Parliament thought that we have to face a new era. So we have to have a new election. So in 1793, they conducted a new election. Clear?
Okay, sir.
In 1793, popularly elected was Jacobians. Earlier it was Girondist, now it is Jacobian. Now Jacobians were popularly elected. The leader of the Jacobians was Robespierre. He was a leader.
Yes, sir.
He was a leader of the Jacobian. There were other leaders also, but he was one of the popular person, and that's why he made as a leader. And what he introduced was strict rules and regulation and strict laws in France during the time, because France was facing danger, he thought. And without any inquiry, he arrested many persons. He started to execute all the people. Other leaders thought that he is going too far. He is danger. If you want to save France and if you want to save the thing, so we have to control Robespierre. But Robespierre is not listening to other leaders. They thought that if we want to control Robespierre, we have to arrest Robespierre. So they arrested Robespierre and they put it into Robespierre in trial. And at last, they found he was guilty and they executed Robespierre. How he became leader was they only elected him as a leader, because popularly elected party in the new election was Jacobians. So they made Robespierre as a leader. Now can you able to understand?
Sir, என்னோட டவுட் இப்போ என்னன்னா, இதுல இப்போ ராபஸ்பேர் இருந்த டைமுக்கு முன்னாடியே லெஜிஸ்லேட்டிவ், எக்ஸிக்யூட்டிவ், ஜுடிஷியரின்னு பிரிஞ்சிருந்ததா? அதே மாதிரி ராபஸ்பேர் இருக்கும்போது அது 3 சிஸ்டமும் இருந்ததா சார்?
நான் சொன்னல 1791 அந்த நியூ கான்ஸ்டிடியூஷன் இன்ட்ரோடியூஸ் பண்ணும்போது 3 பிரிச்சிடுறாங்கன்னு. லெஜிஸ்லேச்சர், எக்ஸிக்யூட்டிவ், ஜுடிஷியரின்னு இருக்கு. சர்ச்சை செப்பரேட் பண்ணி செப்பரேட்டா கொண்டு போயிட்டாங்க. லெஜிஸ்லேச்சருக்கு வந்து பீப்புள் பாப்புலரா எலெக்ட் பண்ணுவாங்க. நான் அந்த கிராஃப் அந்த ஒரு டயக்ராம் போட்டு காமிச்சல உங்களுக்கு. அப்பயே
ஆமா சார்.
1790 நியூ கான்ஸ்டியூஷன் வரும்போது அந்த மாதிரி செப்பரேட்டா பிரிஞ்சிருது. அதே சிஸ்டம் தான் ரோபஸ்பியர் இருக்கும்போதும் இருக்குது.
ஓகே சார். ஆனா இவரு சுப்ரீமா அது ஆனா இவரே கண்ட்ரோல் பண்ணிக்கிறாரு அதையும்.
அதுதான் சொல்றேன். என்ன ஏன் அப்படி பண்ணிட்டாரு, ஏன் அப்படி பண்ணிடுறாங்கன்னு கேட்டா அப்சல்யூட் பவர் வந்து அவர் கையில வந்து கிடைச்சிருது. அவங்க இமீடியட்டா கிங் எக்ஸிக்யூட் பண்ணோன்னா ரோபஸ்பியரை பாப்புலரா ஜெக்கோபியன்ஸ் பாப்புலரா எலெக்ட் ஆகணும்னு ஜெக்கோபியன்ஸ் வந்த உடனே அப்சல்யூட் பவர்னு நான் சொல்லியிருக்கிறேன். ஆல் பவர் கான்சென்ட்ரேட்டட் இன் த சிங்கிள்ஸ் மேன் ஹேண்ட். அதுதான் அங்க வந்து டேஞ்சர் ஆகுது. இந்த ப்ராப்ளத்தை தான் வந்து ஓவர் கம் பண்ணணும்ட்டு டைரக்டரி ஃபேஸ்ல பவரை வந்து செப்பரேட் பண்ணி 5 பேர் கையில பவர் வந்து செப்பரேட்டா கொடுத்திருப்பாங்க 5 மெம்பர் கமிட்டியா. இப்ப புரியுதா உங்களுக்கு?
ஓகே சார், புரிஞ்சிருச்சு சார்.
ஓகே ஓகே,
தேங்க்யூ சார்.
தேங்க்யூ. Sivapriya, Chennai. Okay.
Good afternoon, sir. This is Sivapriya, sir.
Sivapriya from Chennai, correct?
Sir, yes, sir.
Sir,
I have a doubt regarding this Robespierre, sir. The same thing. Can we take it as a military rule, sir? If he was not blocked, then it would have.
Yes, you can take it as a military rule, but it was under French Republic. That is a problem. It is under French Republic. It is a French Republic which was ruled under a draconian law by Robespierre. That is what we called it as a reign of terror. Actually, that was military rule, but we cannot.
Okay, so we can call this. We can call this French Republic as an experiment, no, sir, towards establishment of republic in the world for the first time.
Timeல வந்து பண்ணா French keep on experimenting their political experiments, which is suitable for them. They adopted it. First they became the absolute monarchy, and then they become republic, and then directory, and then council, and then emperor. Once again, that is going to be republic. Like this, they experimented themselves. Correct. Very good.
Okay, sir. But in the case of American Republic, it was not that full-fledged. They didn't do any.
Never experimented anything. They continued to become as a republic because there was no any king concept there. It popular people elected leader was there. So they continued with their experiment of. They never experimented anything like that.
Because their political situation was favorable in
yes,
America.
Very favorable, yes. But here in political situation is not favorable to them. That is the only problem. Very good.
Okay, sir. And one more doubt, sir. If we take Napoleon, he became the emperor, no, sir. So he was elected. So it is more or like republic. But with unlimited tenure, he wanted to be the emperor. That's why he termed himself as emperor, but not as an elected person.
I am not able to get your second point. He became elected by the people and became the emperor. I can able to understand up to this what you told. And another thing, what you told?
Yes, sir. What I told was emperor with unlimited tenure. He wanted to enjoy that. So he wanted to be the emperor rather than going for election by the people as a normal democratic. He preferred emperor because of unlimited tenure.
Yes, that is also inside there, but that is not a issue there from our examination point of view. Our examination point of view here is his dream of ruling the European continent and the world. If he want to rule the European continent, he need to defeat British. How to defeat the British was his problem. That is only our examination point of view. What your thought process is very good. What you told was also very good, but general studies point of view, that examination point of view, we not necessary to go in such a depth. But if you are very clear in that, you can go, but that is not necessary from the general studies point of view in depth. Clear?
Okay, sir. So tenure is the only matter with the difference between the emperorship and republic. That's what I want to know, sir.
Oh, yes. Tenure. Yes, that is the one.
Okay, sir. And one more doubt, sir. In Corsica, I guess he was taken as a prisoner for the first time, no, sir?
No.
That was also his.
No, Corsica is his hometown, home island. He was first imprisoned in Elba, very nearer to Italy, Elba. But he escaped from Elba, and he once again became the emperor. After that, he faced the war. That is where he defeated in the Battle of Waterloo. He was sent as a prisoner to Saint Helena. First prison Elba, second prison Helena. Understand?
Okay. Yes, sir. Got it, sir. And
Okay.
last doubt, sir, regarding this Hobbes order of society. That time I joined later, sir. So this order of society is what is the law and order or
Simply
different, sir?
understand. There is no law and order. There is no constitution. There is no police, army, anything in a country. What would happen?
Social unrest will be there. Chaos will be there.
Chaos would be there. Understand?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So if you want to bring a orderliness in a society, what we need? We need rules and regulation. Which would provide rules and regulation? Constitution only. What is that is the source of all the thing. If you want to make a constitution, what we need? We need a state. So state is a necessary one, what is told by Hobbes. Whether it is a state is a good one or bad one, we need a state. That is a concept given by Hobbes. Hobbes at most idea is necessity of a state. Can you able to understand it now?
Okay, sir. Necessity of the state and the constitution, sir?
Yes.
Or only state?
Necessity of a state. State is a necessary one. From the state only. If there is a state, then only we need a constitution. For a constitution, primary need is a state. Without state, why we need a constitution?
Okay, sir.
For India, we are having constitution. If we don't have any India, imagine like that. If we don't have any India like that, why we need a constitution? For utmost important primary thing is state. In that state only we need a orderliness. So for that orderliness, we need a constitution. So utmost important primary thing is state. That is what told by Hobbes. His idea is restricted with the state itself. John Locke only told other things. Montesquieu told other things, etc., etc. Okay.
So it is the evolution process, like that, sir?
Yes, evolution process. Yes.
Okay, sir. So for so difference between the state and the kingdom is the constitution. Means rules and regulations should be devised.
State is ruled by the people. State is ruled. Modern theory. State is ruled by the people. Kingdom is ruled by the hereditary kings. Modern concept, I'm saying. It's a political science. Political science concept. It is. Okay.
Okay, sir. Thank you so much, sir. Thank you.
Good afternoon, sir.
Yes, Shruti.
Sir, my first doubt is feudalism was existent in Spain and other neighboring areas also, sir. Then why the commoners in other parts didn't join?
Feudalism was existed.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. But then why didn't the commoners in other parts also they come to similar movements like French revolted? Because they were also oppressed, no?
Why they have not come across this kind of problem in Spain, this kind of problem in Prussia, Austria? You are asking that question. Okay. French people were attracted to more and more ideas, but people of Spain, people of Holy Roman Empire, people of Prussia and Austria were not that much of awareness regarding the Renaissance idea. Even though Renaissance was in Europe, that ideas is not provoking them. Even though idea is provoking them, but you have to face certain problem. What kind of problem? I told you, French people was facing the problem of poverty and misery. Why poverty and misery?
Yes.
Because of poverty and misery for so many years, so many centuries. Added to that, as long as they get the food, there is no problem for them. But for the French people, food became very problem for them. What is the food? Bread. When they can't able to get the bread and potato, they can't able to tolerate that. Immediately, the ideas, intellectual ideas, strike into their mind, and they started to protest against the king. That is how the revolution started. Can you able to get it? But that problem is not in Spain, in other countries. Either they may not aware of ideas, or they may get some kind of food for their stomach. One of their need is satisfied. But in France, any of their need is not satisfied fully. That's why they made a revolution. Can you able to understand it now?
Yes, so we can conclude that the emperorship in those countries were not as worse as like Louis, France administration.
Not say like that. It is also worst condition. But France was in his
Okay.
France people were facing more and more problem. That is the thing. Feudalism is no longer used that. That's why the people thought like that. You don't conclude like that.
Okay.
You don't conclude they were in better position. But if you take that kind of graphical representation or graphical judgment like that, France was in better condition when comparing to others. But French people are more attracted to ideas. You stress the point of ideas.
Okay, sir. Okay, sir. So then the knights class belong to nobles, no, sir? Knights.
Knights class, some of the knights class partially in the law, partially their wealthy land owned knights class comes under the lords or knights, but majority of the people knights class comes under the commoners only. They belonging to the third estate only.
Okay, sir. Okay, sir. Sir, my another doubt is, did Napoleon face any opposition from the directory when he rose to power?
When he rose to power, there was no any opposition to him. In the middle, only at the last stage, the directory started to oppose him. Why directory started to oppose him was the directory was very greedy over the popularity of Napoleon. The directory 5-member thought that Napoleon and his popularity among the people is considered to be a danger for French Republic. So they thought that keeping Napoleon inside France is so danger. So they sent Napoleon always outside France. I will tell you this point in the next class because I connect with modern India. So I keep it reserved for the next class.
Okay, sir.
But anyhow, you ask the
Okay, sir. Okay, sir. Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. Thank you so much.
என்ன அவ்வளவுதானா? ஆமா, நம்ம அதுல இருந்து இன்ஸ்பயர் ஆகி எடுத்துக்கிறோம். We got the inspiration from French only. We got the word liberty, equality, fraternity. But American Constitution la நம்ம preamble no. Liberty, equality, fraternity, we got it from French Revolution only. So இப்போ டைரக்டரி ஸ்டேட் வந்து ஃப்ரெண்ட்ஸோட ஐடியாஸ் வந்து ஸ்ப்ரெட் பண்ணாங்க. சோ அங்க இருக்கிற கிங் பிடிக்கல. ஆமா, அது வந்து மக்களோட ஆட்சியா இருந்தா அவங்க கண்டிப்பா பண்ணிருப்பாங்க. Next irkappa.
Hello.
Yes.
Good afternoon, sir. Am I audible, sir?
Yes, audible. Very clear.
Sir, what is the War of Seventh Coalition, sir?
The War of Seventh Coalition is there is a 3 series of coalitions was there between the European countries against France. It is like an international European war between Napoleonic France and other European countries from 1805 to 1815. That is what we call. Very simply understand, all other European countries gathered against France, against Napoleon during that war. They want to defeat Napoleon because Napoleon was going arbitrary and he wanted to rule the European continent. One, and he started to oppose the British goods into the European continent through the continental system. That's why the coalition was formed. Seven countries coalition. What you are asking?
Okay, sir. Another doubt is, sir, I read a news article where they mentioned that the rise of women in the society is started in the French Revolution. Then what is the role of women in the French Revolution, sir?
In the NCERT, new NCERT, they dedicated a single chapter for this one, role of women in the French Revolution. But they have, for the first time in the feudalism, church, Christianity, religion never support women or women's class. Women's are suppressed as per the old Christianity. I'm not saying new one as today. In the 18th and 17th and 18th century Christianity, they never support women. Women's has to do the only household work. That is one. Nobles, aristocratic class never accepted women as a equal one. So throughout the history, women was considered to be beneath the men or beneath these classes. So for the first time, but women among the commoners were in an equal position because in the agricultural land, both men and women has to work together. Then only they can able to earn food for their family. Traders and merchant, men would go for purchase goods, women has to look after the shop, or women would go for trade like this thing. So among the commoners, women have some equal positions there, not almost equal, they have some equality among the among the commoners. The French revolutions have completely broken the feudalism, and almost equality was maintained there. So it was a equality, it maintained the equality of women during the time because of the French Revolution. So it was simply you can say empowerment of women because of French Revolution, where they got equality, where they can say something there in the government. Can you able to understand it now?
Yes, sir. But though it empowers the women, can I
But that
understand it as they are not in the political or any
that is the thing.
position with?
Yes, political power was not granted to women around the world till 20th century. After First World War, only political rights was given for the women. Till that time, women don't have any political rights. They don't have right to vote. Even in United States of America, they don't have voting rights till First World War. A country which was known for advancement, which was known for more enlightened thought of liberty, equality, freedom. But there was also no voting rights for women because till 20th century, world belongs to man only. That is men. Patriarchal society, very simple. Okay.
Okay, sir. Sir, another one is not a doubt. I just want to confirm my interpretation is right or wrong. Sir, due to the eagerness of the Napoleon Bonaparte, the dream of him, strained the Spain and French relationship, which was good during the American Revolution.
Yes, that's what. Very good. Correct. Yes. because of because of the policy of Napoleon to dream the European continent, the relation between France and Spain was strained. Yes, that's very good. Your interpretation and understanding is good. Correct.
Okay, sir. One more interpretation, sir. Due to the strong kingdom in the England, the influence of the French Revolution was not much in that place, sir. Can
No,
I take it
don't
as
compare that with the constitution. Don't compare that with the king. Ideas in England was more liberal during the time. See, when you restrict people more and more, people need more independence. People in England were very liberal. US people were more liberal when comparing to people of France. That's why there was no revolution in Britain. There was no revolution in United States of America. That is why revolution here in France, because people wanted old system to break down and they wanted to have a new system. Already this new system was established in United States of America by means of American Revolution. Already a new system was established there in British because of constitutionally they have provided there.
okay, sir.
Okay.
Okay, sir. Okay, sir. One more doubt, sir. Last one. Sir, in the American Revolution, you said that the 13 colonies got united after the revolution and they made it. How they captured the other parts of the Americans, sir, from France and the Spanish?
That I will tell you while discussing the American Civil War. American Civil War in 1861 only. So chronologically, we have not gone up to that time of 1861. We are still in 1815 only. So I will tell you what happened to the other places in United States of America. What happened to United States of America after American War of Independence? I will tell you while discussing American Civil War. Okay.
Okay, sir. Okay, sir. Thank you, sir. Thank you so much, sir.
அவ்வளவுதானப்பா எத்தனை பேர் இருக்காங்க second. Yes.
Hello, sir. Sir, good afternoon, sir. Sir, you told about the directory phase, right, sir?
Yes.
I missed the part why Spain, Holy Roman, and Austria, Prussia were against the France, sir. There was connection issue, so I couldn't get you properly, sir.
What is your question?
why was Spain, Holy Roman Empire, Austria, Prussia, and all those countries against France during the directory phase?
Very good. Okay. I will tell you. See, France was in the mood of liberty, equality, fraternity. They don't want to enjoy those liberty, equality, and fraternity. And they want to share it to the peoples of Spain. They want to share those things to the Holy Roman Empire people. They want to share those ideas to the Prussian and Austrian people. But but the king of Austria, king of Prussia, king of Spain thought that this is dangerous. If we allow the people of Prussia, if we allow the people of Spain to enjoy this idea, definitely feudalism is going to break down. What is feudalism? First, second, and third estate. If you abolish the feudalism, definitely that would be danger for revolution. If revolution would happen, same like in France, the king would face the danger, or in the case of example of France, king would be executed. So there is a very chance of execution of king in Spain, king in Prussia, king in Austria. So they want to prevent such a kind of danger. Only possible way is to control France. So all these countries gathered against France and they went for war. Now you can able to understand it.
Yes, sir. Now I got it. Thank you, sir. Thank you so much.
Hello. Good evening, sir. Good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon.
Sir, I have a couple of questions. In 1891, you said Girondists were elected majority, no, sir. That
Yes.
election was not proper.
Yes.
So, could I assume that his rule, I mean, their rule was not there, just they were elected?
Yes. 1791, the Girondists were
17.
elected. You come across in modern India. In modern India, moderates were very, very moderate in their ideas. That's why it was not liked by majority of the people and the extremists. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Like that only, the Girondist policy and the approach is very, 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 very ideal and very, very moderate in the way. That's why the majority of the commoners people cannot be able to accept the approach of the Girondist. And that's why in the next election of 1793, people gave their mandate majority to the Jacobians.
Okay, right, sir. The other is the European continent were majorly dependent on the British government for trade, no, sir. Why it was so, sir? Was it the resources not available in there, or?
No. Historically, British were very good at traders. They were the merchant of goods. They were called as a world shopkeepers. Another word for the British traders is world shopkeepers. They would get all commodity in any corner of the world and they would trade it. They get spices of India, silk. They would get ivory of Sri Lanka. They would get the dates of Arabia. They would get the cocoa of Africa and they would trade it because they have talent. They have got because they have an excellent ship. Their sea and navy ruling the world. They don't have any problem. But Spain have no such navy like that. Austria have no such navy like that. Prussia have no such navy like that. Their navies and their trade excellency was not that much when comparing to the British. That's why British have very huge market around the world. Entire European market was almost for the British only.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir. Last question is when during the directory phase, directorates only selected Napoleon, sir. So during the counts,
no directory not elected Napoleon. They chosen Napoleon as a head for the army. The army. But he was very popular among the people during that time. So he appointed himself as a first council during the council phase.
Okay, so then where did he got the rights of changing to 3-member committee, sir? How could he change
it? How can it possible for Napoleon to bending and mending the rules of the French Parliament? You are asking, correct?
Yes, sir.
See, France was facing the danger from all sides during the time. Which can save the France from all this danger? Army. Who is the head of France army during the time? Napoleon. Who was Napoleon? Very popular among the people. So He had the mandate among the people. He have popularity among the people. Whatever told by Napoleon was accepted by the people. Whatever told by Napoleon would be accepted in the French Parliament, because that was during because during that time such a thing was happened in the history. That was the thing.
Okay, sir. Okay, sir. Thank you so much, sir. Thank you.
Okay. எத்தனை பேர் பார்க்கணும்?
Sir, good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon, sir.
Sir, my doubt is regarding, you said no, sir, that economic blockade that Napoleon
yes.
did. Would that be the reason for 1813 Charter Act, sir? Since those companies in Britain could not sell the goods, so they wanted some alternative. So British passed the act to sell it in India so that they could get the profit. Would that be taken like that, sir?
This is I reserved for the next class, but you asked the question here itself. Your point is very correct. Because of the economic blockade only, the British industrialists and the small capitalists cannot be able to sell their goods. So they compel the British Parliament to British Parliament to abolish the trade. That's why in 1813 we passed the Charter Act, which we abolished the trade. That is, the British trade was abolished with respect to India, and only tea they traded with China. In 1833, complete altogether everything was abolished by the East India Company. Now anyone can trade with India and China after 1833. That it was. Your answer is correct. But I connect all these things in the next class only. That you have asked anywhere here itself.
Okay, sir. Sir, and my next doubt is, sir, you said that France wanted to spread this liberty, equality, and fraternity. You said that if they spread, then the leaders would be in trouble. That is Spain, Holy Roman Empire, they would be in trouble.
Not leaders,
would that also be taken? Yes, sir. Kings. Yes, sir. Would that also be taken as the France people were feeling insecure because surrounding kingdoms were having the same monarchical type of rule, so they would attack anytime. So in order to safeguard them, they needed to spread this. Could that also be taken like that, sir?
Definitely we can also take it, interpret like that, because they felt why they wanted to export this idea to the other people means they wanted to be safe. If there is democracy in the nearby state, then only they can be safe here in France. Maybe we can take it like that also. That is another form of interpretation. Very good form of interpretation. Good.
Okay, sir. And my last doubt is, sir, regarding you said that France supported, that means Louis supported during the American Revolution by supplying financial aid, sir. Did the Americans repay the help, sir, when Louis was facing trouble? Since he has helped them in dire crisis, why did they not help them, sir?
That significance, I will tell you this point in significance of French Revolution. Significance. We have one more chapter, one more topic, significance of French Revolution. Next class we are going to see. Yes, I will tell you that the question what you asked, the point I will tell you in the next class. Okay.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir. That's all.
Thank you.
Good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon, Uma. Tell me.
சார் அந்த டைரக்டரி ஃபேஸில் வந்து நீங்கள் சொன்னீங்கல்ல சார், இந்த மாதிரி அப்போ நெப்போலியன் போனாபார்ட் வந்து ஸ்பெயின், ஹோலி ரோமன் எம்பையர், ஆஸ்திரியா, பிரஷ்யா கூட வந்து வார் இது பண்ணும்போது அப்போ பிரிட்டிஷ் கூட பண்ணல சார். பிரிட்டிஷ் அப்போ என்ன ரோல்?
பிரிட்டிஷ் அதில் எழுதலையா நான் பிரிட்டிஷ் அதில்?
இல்லை சார், நீங்கள் வந்து ஸ்பெயின், ஹோலி ரோமன் எம்பையர், ஆஸ்திரியா, பிரஷ்யா கூட வந்து கரேஜஸாக வார் ஃபாட் பண்ணி டிஃபீட் பண்ணாங்கன்னு சொன்னீங்க.
எழுதியிருக்கேன் பாருங்க, பிரிட்டிஷ், ஸ்பெயின், ஹோலி ரோமன் எம்பையர், ஆஸ்திரியா, புரூசியா. ஃபர்ஸ்டே நான் பிரிட்டிஷ் தான் எழுதியிருக்கிறேங்க.
பிரிட்டிஷ் எழுதியிருக்கீங்க சார், பட் நீங்க அந்த ஏரோ மார்க் போட்டு சொல்லும் போது பிரிட்டிஷ் சொல்லல சார். சோ அதனால எனக்கு அந்த டவுட்.
ஓகே, பிரிட்டிஷ் தான் அதுல இருக்காங்க.
ஓகே சார். ஓகே. Thank you சார். அவ்வளவுதான் சார்.
ஓகே.
Hi sir, good afternoon.
Hello, from your name, where?
Pranita. My name is Pranita sir, I'm from Andhra.
And they are not audible.
Am I audible sir? My name is Pranita. Sir, first of all, your way of explanation is very clear, sir. Thank you so much for that.
Anita, you do one thing. You please keep a distance between your mic and your. You just keep a distance.
Yeah. Am I audible now, sir?
Now it's very clear. Tell me.
Yeah. The way of explanation of yours is very clear, sir. Thank you so much for that.
Okay.
And I wanted to ask one small doubt, sir. I had a network interruption. Did you just explain anything as significance of this revolution or anything of such after Napoleon topic?
Not touched. I will touch it in the next class only.
Okay, sir. Thank you so much. And after the immediate cause from reign of terror, can it be termed as course of revolution?
Yes, the course of revolution is nothing but reign of terror, directory phase, council phase, empress phase. That is a course of revolution.
Okay, sir. And do we have any name for the first battle in which Napoleon was first defeated?
The Battle of Paris. Battle of Paris, we called it as 1814, where Napoleon was defeated and he was sent as a prisoner to island called Elba. And he escaped out of Elba after a few days, and then only he faced the battle that is called Battle of Waterloo. Okay.
Oh, okay, sir. Thank you, sir.
Hello, sir.
Yes, tell me.
சார் இந்த சோசியோ கான்ட்ராக்ட் தியரி இருக்குல்ல சார்?
ஆமா
சார், மற்ற இன்டெலெக்சுவல்லாம் சொல்லும்போது கரெக்டா எல்லாம் எக்ஸிக்யூட்டிவ் பவர் பிரிச்சிருக்காங்க. இந்த ஜீன் ராசசிவ் இருக்கும்போது தான் நெப்போலியன் பவருக்கு வராரோ சார்?
இல்லைங்க.
ஏன்னா சோசியோ கான்ட்ராக்ட்ல அப்சல்யூட் பவர்னு ஒண்ணு கொடுப்பாங்க. எல்லாரும் சேர்ந்து ஒருத்தருக்கு மட்டும் பவர் கொடுப்போம் அப்படின்னதும் அந்த சான்ஸ் வந்து நெப்போலியன் யூஸ் பண்ணிட்டாரா சார்?
இல்ல சோஷியல் கான்ட்ராக்ட் தியரி நீங்க சொல்ற மாதிரி கிடையாது. சோஷியல் கான்ட்ராக்ட் தியரினா என்னன்னு கேட்டீங்கன்னா, சோஷியல் கான்ட்ராக்ட்ன்றது ஒரு காமனான வேர்டு. நிறைய பேர் அந்த பேர்ல வந்து எழுதியிருக்காங்க. ஜீன் ரூசோவும் அந்த பேர்ல தான் வந்து புக்ல வந்து எழுதியிருக்காரு சோஷியல் கான்ட்ராக்ட்னு. சோஷியல் கான்ட்ராக்ட்னா என்னன்னு கேட்டீங்கன்னா, நம்மளும் ஸ்டேட்டும் வந்து சோஷியல் ஒரு கான்ட்ராக்ட் போட்டுக்கிறது. இப்ப என்னன்னு கேட்டீங்கன்னா, நீங்க உங்களுக்கு பாலிட்டி கிளாஸ் முடிஞ்சிருக்கும். இப்ப உங்க ஃபண்டமெண்டல் ரைட்லாம் நம்ம யார்கிட்ட வந்து வாங்கிக்கிறோம்? நம்ம ஃபண்டமெண்டல் ரைட்லாம் நம்ம எங்க இருந்து வாங்கிக்கிறோம்? கான்ஸ்டிடியூஷன்ல இருந்து வாங்கிக்கிறோமா? கான்ஸ்டிடியூஷன்ல இருந்து வாங்கிக்கிறோம். சரி, இப்ப இந்தியா வார்ல இருக்குது. இந்தியாவுக்கு திடீர்னு ஒரு வார் வந்துருச்சுன்னா நம்மளுடைய ஒரு சில ஃபண்டமெண்டல் ரைட்ஸ் சஸ்பெண்ட் ஆயிடுதா? ரைட் டு ஸ்பீச் எல்லாம் ரைட் டு ஸ்பீச் எல்லாம் வந்து சஸ்பெண்ட் ஆயிடுதா? ஓகேவா? அப்ப நம்ம அங்க என்ன பண்ணிட்டு கொஞ்சம் கொடுத்துட வேண்டியது. ஆமா, அப்ப நம்ம வந்து என்ன பண்றோம்? இல்ல நம்ம வந்து காம்ப்ரமைஸ் பண்ணிக்கிறோமா? ஏன் காம்ப்ரமைஸ் பண்ணிக்கிறோம்? நம்ம சேஃப்டி செக்யூரிட்டிக்கோசரம் நம்மளே காம்ப்ரமைஸ் பண்ணிக்கிறோம். இதை நம்ம எங்க பண்ணிருக்கிறோம்? இதை தான் நம்ம கான்ட்ராக்டா ஸ்டேட்டு கிட்ட போட்டிருக்கிறோம். தட் இஸ் வாட் வி கால் இட் அஸ் அ சோஷியல் கான்ட்ராக்ட். என்ன, we are compromising certain things to the state and getting and giving power to the state. ஆனா இங்க மக்களுக்கு தான் ஸ்டேட் தேவை, ஸ்டேட் வந்து மக்களுக்கு தேவையில்லை. that is the thing. So it is a social contract theory.
ஓகே சார். சார், அப்புறம் ஓட்டோமன் டர்க்ஸ் இருக்காங்களா சார்? அவங்க வந்து பிரான்ஸுக்கு அப்போஸ் எப்படி சார் இருக்காங்க?
Ottoman Turks have no any role to play there now, but we are going to discuss the Ottoman Turks during the time of the First World War, because the Ottoman Turks is not going to any of the European politics as of now. இப்போதைக்கு நான் அவங்க வந்து எதுவுமே இங்க வந்து ஜாயின் பண்ண போறது கிடையாது நம்ம கிட்ட. ஃபர்ஸ்ட் வேர்ல்டு வார் வரும்போது தான், பிகாஸ் ஒட்டோமான் டர்க்ஸ் கம் ஃபார் த வேர்ல்டு வார் 1, அப்பதான் நம்ம அவங்கள பத்தி அங்க டிஸ்கஸ் பண்ண போறோம். ஐ அம் கோயிங் டு டிஸ்கஸ் அபவுட் த என்டையர் மிடில் ஈஸ்ட், வெஸ்ட் ஏஷியா இன் வேர்ல்டு வார் 1. then you can get a clear picture in world war 1 regarding the west asia. ஓகேங்களா?
ஓகே சார். சார், அப்புறம் நெப்போலியன் இட்டாலியன் கிரியேட் பண்ணிருக்காரா சார்? ரெண்டாவது மேப்ல நீங்க இட்டாலின்னு அங்க வந்திருக்கு சார் சிறுசா. நீங்க ரெண்டாவது மேப் காமிச்சீங்களா சார்?
ஆமா ஆமா.
அப்போ அந்த ரைனுக்கு கீழே இட்டாலின்னு சின்னதா இருக்கு சார். அப்பவே கிரியேட் பண்ணிட்டாரா?
இது நீங்க கேக்குற இந்த क्वेश्चन நீங்க கேக்குறது வந்து நான் இன்னொரு டாபிக் கீழ இருக்கு பாத்தீங்களா, சிக்னிஃபிகன்ஸ் ஆஃப் பிரெஞ்சு ரெவல்யூஷன் இருக்கு பாத்தீங்களா, அங்க அதை டச் பண்ணுவேன். அங்க வரும்போது நான் அதை பத்தி சொல்லுவேன்.
ஓகே சார். ஓகே சார். थैंक यू சார்.
Good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon.
Sir, my doubt is regarding the intellectual cause. As I've lost my connection, I was not able to understand.
You get it the video. You definitely will get your video regarding the intellectual role of intellectual. That one you are asking, na?
Yes, sir. Only one night I got connection from Montesquieu. I did not get about Hobbes and John Locke, sir.
You don't get about John Hobbes and Locke. Okay, I will tell you what Hobbes told that. See, if there is no law and order, if there is no military, if there is no police, if there is no rules and regulation in a country, what would happen? Complete chaos. You are able to understand it.
Yes,
Okay, so there is no law and order, no rules, regulations, constitution. There is a complete chaos. So what we need a state. State. State is a necessary one. So state is a necessary one where we get constitution. From state only we get constitution. Who is going to put the rules, regulation? State only is going to put the rules and regulation. So it's told that state is a necessary one. That is
yes,
what by Hobbes. Then after Hobbes, then another man came, that was John Locke. What John Locke told that, okay, we can have state, but who is going to look after the life of the people? Who is going to look after the liberty of the people, independence of the people, right to speech of the people, religion of the people? Who is going to look after the property of the people? So he told that that's not only state necessary, that state should govern the life of the people, govern the liberty of the people, govern the property of the people. So John Locke told that governance of a state regarding the life, liberty and property of the people. That is what told by Locke. Can you able to understand it?
so government. Yes, sir.
Governance,
Governance in a sense, in what sense should we take?
governance means how to rule the people. What is the welfare of the people? Governance means welfare of the people. Looking after the welfare of the people.
Okay, sir. Okay, sir. Understood, sir. Thank you.
You are from where? What is your name?
I'm Swati Priya, sir. I'm from Andhra Pradesh.
Oh, Swati Priya. Swati Priya from Okay, Swati Priya.
Yes, sir.
Thank you.